Okay, I'm going to do a quick demonstration of the PowerPoint presentation project that we're going to work on this week. And this is the attached PDF or digital copy of what the instructions and slide examples are going to look like. So we're going to start with a blank title slide, top four movies, your name, and then the date. And then the next slide, sorry, the next slide is just kind of like a shell of what all of the other slides should look like. Okay, so we're going to have a movie title across the top. We're going to have all of these for every slide for every movie that we're profiling. And over here on this side, we want to have at least two movie related images. For all of this information over here, you can go to IMDb and I'll show you where to find all that stuff in just a minute. And then this is, of course, our total with 5 slides, 4 movies that we're going to profile, and the title slide. And then here's an example of what a finished movie slide could look like for you. We have the main actors, the actors that are in the movie, plus the role that they play. And if you're doing a large ensemble movie, like, some of the Avenger movies, you can just pick, the top 3 people that are in it. The genre, the plot, the box office, and the ratings. And all of that is found on IMDb. So let me go to Online Office. I've opened up PowerPoint and I'm going to click on blank presentation. You can choose some of these themes if you want, but for our purposes, just a blank white presentation is easy. There's no graphics or images to get in the way of the design, so it's somewhat more straightforward and simple. So we're going to pop in here with a title slide. Okay, no big deal. You just click. And by now you guys have had practice with this, and then you can put your name and date down here. And then for the new slide, if anything else pops up while you're working and you want to have more workspace, by the way, you can always just keep closing these things because it's forever trying to suggest, like, hey, do you want to put a background? Do you want to put a theme? Do you want to do other things to your slide? So for the design of this slideshow, since we only have text on half of the slide and then we want to have room for images, this is how I prefer to do this. On my new slide, I'm going to use the arrow drop down to get to some options. I generally will choose a 2 content slide for this style of slideshow because we have a text box that's defined here already. So all I need to do is remove this other text box, and then it gives me room for putting on my images and whatnot. So if you hover on the edge of the content box here, the text box, and you get that 4-headed arrow, and you just click it one time, it selects the entire text box. You can see by the handles that it's selected. And then once it's selected, all you have to do is hit backspace and it removes it completely. Okay. So you'll be in here, you'll type in your movie title, whatever that might be. Make sure that we center it. And then over here, we would remove the bullets. And then we would go bold and underline for main actors. Hit enter one time, remove the bold and underline, and then here's where you would start to type in the main actors and the role that they play. Okay, I'm not going to do it, but you guys get the idea. Then when you're done with that section, you would hit enter again, and now you're on to the next one, which is what? Genre. Okay, I'm not going to do the whole slide. I just wanted to give you guys an idea of how we're going. So the nice thing about this is as we're building this thing up, the font will adjust automatically. Mine had a little bit of a lag, but the font will adjust automatically to stay within this text box. So as you're typing and filling this out and creating text, you don't have to worry about resizing the font. It'll do it automatically. And then over here would be the time for images. There's 2 ways you can do this. One is off of the insert, and we go to pictures. And we probably don't have pictures saved on your computer of your favorite movie. So Bing is like opening up a search engine without going to another without opening up another tab for like a Google search or whatever. Sometimes the images here are a bit limited, but we can see what we can find. I'll use the Hunger Games as my example still. Now, this Creative Commons, this comes up because this is kind of the not so heavily trademarked images, I guess you could say. And if I take this off, it should give me more options. Okay. And again, if you don't like what you're seeing in here, you can always go to Google and search up some different images. But let's just, pick something simple. I can go here and then just say insert, and it drops it in. Okay. You can just move it around and resize it as needed. And then if there's anything that you want to do to the picture, not that you need to, the picture tab should pop up as long as your picture is selected. If your picture is not selected, no picture tab. Picture tab here. Sometimes people use this for resizing it, although these should be locked. Normally the height and the width are locked together, but there's other things, and not that you have to do any of this, but there are some other options up here for the picture. All right, so that's pretty much the layout and the design that we need to follow to complete this assignment. Now let's go to IMDb to talk about this information, where we're going to find it. I've already queued up the Hunger Games here. I'm going to select the movie. Now, just of one note, if you have kind of a different taste in movies, like some people like anime movies or whatever, if you can find information on that, that's fine. You can put it in the presentation, but sometimes obscure movies are difficult to find all the information that we need, so just keep that in mind. So right here in IMDb, I did Hunger Games. It came up. So we have the motion picture rating here, which is something that we'll use. We have the fan rating right here, which is something that we'll use. If you scroll down, these bubbles are the genre, and if there's multiple ones, you can list multiple ones. Okay, come down a little bit further, scroll down. There are some photos, and you can certainly copy and paste these if you would like to. Generally, it works best if you click on the image to get the full size, right click. I guess this one doesn't allow you to copy and paste. I mean, you can go this way, but I would probably, you could save it onto your desktop, I guess would be an option. Anyway, copy and paste is generally easier, but I just thought that would potentially work. So scroll down here. Here's our cast and the role that they play, so that's easy to find. Scroll down a little further. We have a storyline. I don't necessarily want you to copy and paste it, but this is a good place to start to be able to get your 2 or 3 sentences to do the plot line or the storyline of the movie. Scroll down a little further. And then we are down into box office information. Okay. You can take any of this except for the budget, because we don't care how much it costs for the movie to be made. But we can do opening weekend, and then you can take that value right there and put it in, or you can say gross in the US or gross worldwide. As long as you specify which monetary value you're using, that would be the best. So let me go back to the sample slide. And so you can see we had main actors, genre, plot, box office data, gross earnings in the US, and then the 2 ratings off of the front page. All right. So I hope this little video helps you. I know it seemed a little goofy when I was trying to copy and paste and it wouldn't work. But if you do really want to copy and paste, you can always go to a Google image and say the Hunger Games, and then go to images. And then you have a ton of images to choose from. And then generally speaking, for Google searches, if you click on the thumbnail or the preview image, and then you get to this one. Now this is the one where you can right click and say copy image. It puts a copy on our digital clipboard, and then we can go back to the presentation. I can move this one, make it smaller, move it out of the way, and then anywhere in the blank space I can right click and say paste, and it brings in the picture. And then again with the corner you can resize it. And I specify using the corner because I'm sure we've all seen it where we get flyers, handouts, emails where people try to attach images. and they size it like this, and you can obviously tell that it's been squished, or they try to resize it with this, and you can tell it's been pinched together too much. So the best way to keep that from happening is to always use the corner, because no matter how I try to size it, it keeps the ratio intact. All right. Okay. So good luck on the presentation, and I hope this little demonstration helped clear some things up.